Buenos dias. Let's talk fear of failure. We're gonna jump right into this because this is a big one. Like today's, I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's kind of heavy, but I think that you're really going to enjoy it, especially if you're like a high achiever like I am. And if you're like first gen like I am as a Latina, this is a huge one. So let's just jump right in. So welcome to the channel. My name is Sloan the Beast. I'm a chaos coach and content creator for highly driven, highly ambitious women that have really high demanding work lives. I help you create balance so that you don't skip a beat in business or in life without putting yourself on the back burner. It's the best. So if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. And without further ado, thank you to those of you that are back. Let's jump into fear of failure. All right, so what is fear of failure? Okay, and how does this affect you? If you're here, you clearly are a high achiever because the title is literally fear of failure as a high achiever. So you clearly self-define as a high achiever, meaning that you are the person that goes above and beyond. You are the person that does the things that everyone else thinks is absolutely obnoxious, impossible, absolutely crazy. Hello, welcome to the team. Totally get it. That's definitely me and my husband for our family. I feel like after a while, you hit this plateau of like, I've done so many incredible things. What happens if this next thing doesn't hit? What happens if I've gotten all this far? I've done all these incredible things. And like I like to say, I've built and burned the way that I wanted to, but what if it doesn't work out this time around? How am I going to be perceived? What happens next? I think that that's always a thought in the back of our minds because there's so much that is riding on us, like especially again, as a first gen or as family of immigrants, like there's so much that's riding on you making this work because there is no plan B, right? Like you are showing them plan A, B, C, D. You are the one that's showing them what is actually possible, especially if you're an entrepreneur like we are, in not working for the man, in not doing things the quote unquote traditional way. I think that that fear is always there, but I think that if you learn how to harness it, it can be a really powerful tool to drive you into doing the things that are really going to quantum leap you into the next project. So let's talk about this. How does this fear affect you if you don't harness it? Well, number one, fear is debilitating. Fear of failure will stop you from saying yes to back of the napkin opportunities that happen at this level of success. And this is me just assuming that you are a high achiever, that you are an overachiever, that you already have experienced some level of success in your business or in your career. So you already have something to hold on to. You already have something to show for the things that you've been working on. That fear of losing what you have, or even worse, not attaining better, can be debilitating. It can keep you in the same position. It can keep you stagnant. It can stop you from saying yes to everyday opportunities that are presented to us if we are willing to open our eyes and say, yes, I am available for everything that belongs to me. My husband and I have this quote and we say opportunities come to us every single day. It's just up to us to be attuned to what those opportunities are. And that can be opportunities in business, that can be opportunities in relationships, that can be opportunities financially. We see them every single day and people will ask us like, well, how did this come about? How did that come about? I just said that I'm available. In the morning, I say, God, I'm available for everything that is for me, everything that you have already assigned to me. I am here for it. I'm willing to say yes. And that heart posture really makes all the difference. When you are afraid of failing, that is going to stop you from those opportunities because pretty much everything that we've achieved over the last 2 years has been things that people are like, there's no way that would happen. There's no way you have the credit for that. There's no way you have the money for that. There's no way that that would have appeared in the way that it did. And we're like, actually it did. And it kind of just fell into our lap. When you are afraid of failing and you don't act despite that fear, then you're going to be stagnant. Then those opportunities, even though they're right in front of you, you're not going to be available to receive them. So the first thing is that fear can be debilitating if you don't learn how to harness it. Okay, so I have a couple of tips for you on how exactly you can overcome your fear of failure. And these are things that my husband and myself have also done. And it's like I said, we build and we burn whatever we want. Like, I'm not tied to anything. I'm not afraid of failing at anything. No one can tell me nothing because I build and burn as I please. And I want to show you exactly how it is that you can do that as well. First thing is you need to understand where that fear is rooted. You need to know where it's coming from. It's really hard for you to try and overcome something if you don't even know where it came from. And so when you are looking at this fear of failure, right? Whether it's a new business that you're doing, or maybe you're about to apply to a big grant, or maybe you're about to make this huge move across the country and you're so afraid of having to move back home because everyone is going to think that you're a failure, you didn't make it, you couldn't cut it. I want you to understand where is that rooted, and the way that you can do this is through self-coaching. Now, I do have a resource for you that you can actually download with a bunch of self-coaching questions that you can journal through. I personally recommend just writing them down in a journal because then that way you really let your subconscious take over, but totally up to you, whatever's more comfortable. You can download that resource down below. But the first thing that you need to do is understand where is this rooted. The second thing you need to do is, and we kind of already touched on this, is you need to act despite the fear. You want to start small and then you can work your way up to whatever that big goal is or that big thing is that has you paralyzed in where you are right now, because that's not you. You are an overachiever. You want to start small. You want to just start acting as if act despite the fear until that becomes normal for you. Okay, the next one is something that you should be doing anyways, just as an act of regular gratitude, and it's to make a list of miracle moments, is what I call them. So these miracle moments are basically moments or projects or opportunities or just experiences that you've lived through that to logic and rationale make no sense. Like if you explain this to somebody that you went through this thing, they're gonna be like, "Tú estás loca. I don't even know how on earth that came about. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I should believe you, honestly." But you're like, "Bro, I literally am telling you I lived this." Those are the things that you want to write down and make a list of whenever this fear keeps popping up for you, because those serve as references to what is possible for you. And let me tell you something, everything that is placed on your heart and of course is in God's perfect will for your life is possible for you. It is not a coincidence that you have the desires that you have. It's not a coincidence that you have the dreams and the thoughts and the visions that you receive. It is totally on purpose. And as long as you are living your life in alignment to God's will for you, then everything is possible for you, right? Nothing is out of reach. Okay, the next one is one that I'm going to talk about later this week, and it is surround yourself around people who show you what is actually possible, which again is everything, right? You want to surround yourself with people who do not see anything as being unattainable to them. That energy is infectious. That energy is contagious. And you want to surround yourself with people who really truly believe that everything that you say you want, you will hold. I always have to laugh because my husband's friends, anytime that he says he wants something, at first they used to be like, "Yeah, all right, bro, like you don't got the money for that, you don't got the credit for that, you don't got blah, 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 blah." And now they're like, "Let me stop playing because I know that everything you want, you get." Over time, we have proven that time and time again. And now what's happened is their own faith has been activated. Now what's happened is they know that if they want something, they can absolutely achieve it as well. Failures as a lesson. That's really all it is. This mindset shift is so easy, but so difficult for so many people because they see failure from the eyes and they're projecting their failures from the eyes of other people. Oh, they see me as this and they see me as that. Listen, honestly, people aren't even paying attention to you. People have their own problems and their own goals and their own issues and their own things to where like you're the only one that's caught up in your own mess. And if people are paying that close attention to you, they need to get busy. They need to do something else with their life. You don't need to surround yourself with those people anyway. The right people will tell you, okay, let's debrief. This didn't work out. Why didn't it work out? Let's figure out the kinks. Let's look at the analytics. Let's look at the data. Where did we go wrong? Was it an instinct thing? Did you just get in bed with the wrong person? Was it a money thing? You can look at the information as what it is, data. Failure is nothing more than data. Data you can then use to say, you know what? I could do this better. and come back and do it better. Or decide, thank you for the lesson. It turns out that this was miserable for me. I hated it. And the only reason I just kept with it is so that I didn't fail. But in life, we are allowed to shift our ideas, to shift our perspectives. We're allowed to want more, to decide this industry, actually, I'm tired of it. I'm burnt out from it. I want something new. I want something different. This business, I'm exhausted from. I don't want those clients anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. You have the right to reinvent yourself as many times as you want in this lifestyle, in this lifetime. You do not need to be stuck to one thing forever. And whoever perceives that as a failure is obviously not a high achiever like you are. Because high achievers understand that failure is nothing more than data and lessons to be learned so that we can then quantify those lessons and turn them into major successes. Because I bet that if you and I were to sit here and talk about every single experience that looked like a failure at the time, you're like, actually, that failure, that was the setup to such a big come up. That failure was the lesson that I needed to then relaunch this program so much better. That failure was the lesson that I needed to decide, actually, that city was not for me. Those people are funny. And I ended up moving over here instead. And this community has been so welcoming and so much better for me, and etc. Right? I bet that if you and I were to sit down, we would realize that every single lesson has been the setup to so much more. So I hope these tips were helpful for you. Stick around for tomorrow as we continue our 75 hard here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you mañana. Sweet night, Space fam.